Jamie Dornan announces split from Dakota Johnson, Hollywood's shocking end. The morning that changed everything. It started quietly, like any other morning in Hollywood, until Jamie Dornan's voice broke the internet silence. He didn't appear in an interview, nor did he stand in front of a camera. Instead, he opted for simple words against a white background. After careful consideration and with mutual respect, Dakota and I have decided to end our relationship. Love isn't forever. Sometimes it's the moments that change you. In seconds, the world stopped. The post reached millions of people, spread across continents before Jamie even turned off his phone. Hollywood gasped. Fans screamed. Journalists were abuzz. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, the couple whose chemistry defined a generation, were officially over. Love begins in the dark. It all began more than a decade ago, on the set of 50 Shades of Grey. When Jamie replaced Charlie Hunnam as Christian Grey, the entire project seemed on the brink of collapse. Then Dakota walked in, calm, curious, with eyes that could read pain like poetry. What happened next was unscripted. Between rehearsals and reshoots, something intangible began to ignite. She understood him in a way no one else did, says a production assistant. Even before their first on-screen kiss, there was an intense attraction between them. You could feel it, anyone could. But Jamie was married, and Dakota, despite her growing fame, still carried her own silent pain. So they kept quiet, until the silence became unbearable. The first spark. By the time the first 50 Shades movie came out in 2015, rumors had already started to spread. The couple denied everything. They were just friends, just colleagues, just actors. But the red carpet told a different story. Every look, every touch, every silent smile between them spoke volumes. When the trilogy ended, many assumed their story was over. But the gossip continued. Then, in 2019, everything changed. Jamie's marriage to Amelia Warner began to fall apart. Meanwhile, Dakota's relationship with Chris Martin hit a snag. The two disappeared from the spotlight, then reappeared together. Dinner in London, a weekend in Vancouver, a quiet stroll in Dublin. What was once a love hidden behind closed doors is now a quiet truth revealed. Against all odds. They try to keep things real, away from the flashbulbs and gossip. Jamie wants peace. Dakota wants freedom. Together, they seek both. In 2021, they bought a secluded home near Malibu, surrounded by trees and ocean air. They are often seen biking together, smiling at farmers' markets, laughing at Jamie's clumsy attempts at surfing. Friends say it's the happiest they've ever seen him. She made him smile again, a close friend revealed. After all, he finally looks like a man who's found his home. But Hollywood has a cruel habit. It doesn't let love breathe. Every public smile becomes a headline. Every day apart was trouble in paradise. And as Dakota's career exploded with The Lost Daughter and Madam Web, the distance, both physical and emotional, began to show. Cracks beneath the surface. Insiders whisper that trouble began earlier this year. Jamie, who was filming overseas for The Tourist, became increasingly private. Dakota, often in New York for shoots and premieres, was surrounded by attention, fans, and endless speculation. She was glowing, but he was exhausted, said a journalist who had profiled them in Vanity Fair. You could feel they were no longer on the same page. At a promotional event, a reporter asked Dakota about marriage. She laughed, nervously. "I think love is enough," she whispered. When asked a few days later, Jamie replied with a half-smile. "Sometimes love isn't everything." Those words echoed in every tabloid for weeks afterward. The night everything fell apart. According to multiple sources, the final argument happened in London last month. Jamie had flown in unexpectedly to surprise Dakota at a private art gala. Instead, he found her surrounded by industry friends, including a well-known director she'd been rumored to work with next. Witnesses said he seemed distant, cold, somewhere else entirely. Dakota, noting his silence, pulled him aside. They talked for 10 minutes. Then he walked away. They didn't shout. They didn't cry. It was worse than that, said one guest. It was like watching two people realize they couldn't fix what they'd already broken. Later that night, Jamie leaves for Belfast. Dakota returned to Malibu alone. 3 weeks later, the announcement came. The world reacts. The news broke hearts across the globe. Fans flooded timelines with tributes, videos of their 50 Shades chemistry, red carpet moments, and candid photos of them laughing, unaware they were being watched. Celebrities, too, react with disbelief. Chris Martin, Dakota's ex, sent her flowers. Amelia Warner, Jamie's former wife, was reported gracious but saddened. Even Sam Heughan, Jamie's longtime friend, liked the post, adding only a single heart emoji. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Jamie Dakota Forever and hashtag Love in Shades trended worldwide. As one fan wrote, "They made us believe in movie love again. Now they're showing us that even the most beautiful stories can break." Inside Jamie's heart. In Belfast, Jamie was seen taking long walks near the sea. Locals described him as a man lost in his own silence. "He's heartbroken," said a source close to him. "He truly loved her, but he couldn't live under the constant pressure anymore. He wanted peace, not performance." Friends say he still checks on Dakota through mutual contacts, but avoids calling her. He spends time with his daughters, focusing on the simple things: music, family dinners, long drives. During a recent interview for The Tourist, when how he was coping, he faintly asked, "Sometimes, endings are just the beginning of learning who you are again." Dakota's quiet resilience. Dakota, on the other hand, threw herself into work. At an event in Malibu a few days after the announcement, she looked radiant but still reserved. Her close friend, actress Riley Keough, described her as stronger than ever but still deeply nostalgic. "She's not angry at all," Riley said. "She's grateful. She told me, Jamie was the love that changed me, and I'll always carry that with me." However, sources say she still keeps the letters, photos and the bracelet he gave her in Ireland, stored in a small box by her bedside. She hasn't gotten over it yet, another friend admitted. She's just learning to live with the silence. Their legacy. Hollywood has seen countless love stories, from fleeting flings to lifelong marriages. But Jamie and Dakota's relationship is different. It wasn't a gimmick, nor was it a perfect relationship. It was messy, real, and human. They showed vulnerability in a world built on illusion. Fans have debated for years whether their chemistry was performance or real. Now, perhaps the answer no longer matters. As one producer who worked with them put it, "They were each other's muses. Whether it lasted or not, they became part of each other's legacy." What comes next? Jamie plans to spend the next few months away from Hollywood, working on a personal film project in Ireland. Friends say it's a story about loss, forgiveness, and love that lingers. Dakota is heading to France to begin filming an indie romance, a story about two people who meet again after years apart. Life imitates art, perhaps more than either of them intended. Those close to both believe there's still respect, and maybe, somewhere, a quiet hope that one day the timing will be right again. But for now, they are two souls walking separate paths, bound by memories, freed by heartbreak. The last words. Last night, fans noticed Dakota had reposted a photo from the 50 Shades set, a behind-the-scenes shot of her and Jamie laughing in the rain. No caption, no tags. Just a memory. Hours later, Jamie's team confirmed he had seen it. His response? A simple message to Variety. Some moments never fade. And perhaps that's the truth behind all great love stories. They don't end, they transform. Because even though Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson are no longer together, Their story remains carved into Hollywood's heart. They were proof that passion could be both beautiful and destructive, that love can heal and hurt in equal measure. As dawn broke over Los Angeles, a fan wrote the words that seemed to echo what the world felt. They gave us a love story we'll never forget, even if they couldn't keep it. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.